up. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? For the council meeting of December 10th, 2019, place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
A quorum is present for City Council, Successor Agency, Housing Authority, Finance Authority, Parking Authority, and Joint Powers Authority.
We have a presentation. Oh, the Los Angeles County Registrar, he's not here yet. And we have a presentation for Golden State Water Company. It is with great pride and pleasure that the Mayor and Council of the City of Inglewood, California, extend our sincere and heartfelt appreciation to the Golden State Water Company for their partnership on community outreach projects that have benefited residents in need in the City of Inglewood. The City of Inglewood hereby salutes Golden State Water Company and Southwest General Manager Kate Nutting, who also serves as the board chair for the California-Nevada section of the American Water Works Association. She's a busy lady.
That's right.
For their partnership with the District 4 council member, that would be Ralph Franklin. Our joint efforts through Operation Gobble Outreach Program provided more than 50 Inglewood families in need with Thanksgiving turkeys this year. Golden State has been a faithful sponsor of the annual District 4 Christmas Toy and Food Drive. I see a theme coming here, Ralph. An event that provides Christmas toys, food, and/or retail gift cards to more than 50 District 4 elementary school students, their siblings, and parents, along with teen pregnancies and at-risk youth. This year, Golden State, on behalf of the District 4 Christmas and Toy Food Drive, contributed to the city's nonprofit organization, the Inglewood Community Services Corporation, which works to assist Inglewood residents in need, including grandparents raising their grandchildren, foster children, and their families, senior citizens, and other residents who may find themselves in need during the holidays. This Christmas, the donation from Golden State Water helped the city assist nearly 600 Inglewood residents and their families. Golden State Water is a tremendous asset to the city of Inglewood, and today we honor them under the leadership of Kate Nutting for their sincere compassion and commitment to improve the lives of Inglewood, residents of the city of Inglewood. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the City of Inglewood, California, do hereby honor Golden State Water for their community sponsorship as a source of hope and encouragement for so many. Our hope is that your organization will continue to be a strong corporate partner with our community, presented this 10th day of December 2019. And I want to see Ms. Matthews because she better not ever write anything this long again. Is Ms. Nutting here? Could you come in and? Yeah. She's over there. Oh, she's over there. Oh, okay.
Go on the list, girl.
So I'll just take a moment of your time. I know that you have a lot of business to take care of, but I just wanted to say I'm really impressed by how much the City of Inglewood does for its residents, and I'm really proud that Golden State Water has been able to partner with Councilman Franklin on these two events for the past several years. We at Golden State Water, we like to be involved with our communities, and so we really welcome the opportunities to partner in activities such as these. So I look forward to working with you more in the future, and I want to thank you so much for the recognition.
Yes, sir.
Let me, hold on one second, let's see.
Testing. There we go.
Okay.
I just want to acknowledge that the Golden State Water has embraced your communities for a number of years. Since 1990, you established a program called Operation Gobble. And because of that, you were successful to date of 240,000 turkey giveaways and 8,000 alone this year. On behalf of the City of Inglewood and the residents, we personally thank you for the 3 years that we partnered where you gave over 150 turkeys to the residents in District 4, as well as over $6,500 to our nonprofit for the City of Inglewood called the Inglewood Community Services Corporation. So on behalf of all those families you bless, thank you, Kate, as well as Golden State Water. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Al?
Okay, and I'm very sorry, and that's taken up all the time for the council meeting, so. So is the county rep here? Would he like to make his presentation now?
Of the new voting system that's going to be taking place March 2020.
Okay,
Jeff,
Mr.
if you would go to the
Mr.
podium,
Klein,
please.
if you could go to the audience podium.
Hello. Hi. Hope everyone's having a nice afternoon. Thank you for having me here. I do have a PowerPoint presentation, but I can go ahead and get started while we bring that up. My name is Jeff Klein. I'm with the LA County Registrar's Office. I'm the manager of civic engagement, and I'm here to talk about our new voting system. We call it VSAP. It stands for Voting Solutions for All People. There's a number of changes coming to voting in LA County for the March primary election, and we've been heavily promoting all the changes, trying to make all the voters and all the residents really of LA County aware of the changes. We really value partnerships like this and getting out to the community, working with cities to help us spread the word. Cities are the first point of contact for many of the residents throughout all of LA County, so we want to make sure that cities are fully aware. And any way we can partner, we want to do that and work together. I did bring some demo center flyers, and I brought those. I wanted to call special attention because Inglewood has been nice enough to host one of our demo sites. Both here, we're splitting time between the City Hall and the Inglewood Library to accommodate schedules. And so for the month of December, this are one of our demo center sites. So we do encourage the public to try that out and spread the word throughout the community. There's a number of changes that are happening, and I'll go through each of the different changes. I guess we could probably skip on the PowerPoint. I'll go ahead and I could probably do it without the I can move forward on that. So, sure. Oh, okay. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Sorry about that. Usually just my luck. I always have technical issues when trying to rush and get a PowerPoint up and going. So we'll have it up in just a second, and then we'll give an overview.
Jeff?
Yes.
I'm sorry, maybe you want to answer some of the councilman's
Sure,
questions?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I can take maybe some questions right now, maybe outside the actual equipment and the project, but if there's general elections about the election in general, happy to talk
Okay,
about those.
we'll start with Councilman Franklin. I know he has.
So I provided a list of 8
Yes.
issues. And I don't know if you have a chance to answer them. So for public purposes,
Sure.
let me read one off at a time and get
Okay.
your response.
Absolutely.
How do you determine who is eligible to vote, since a voter can go to any poll in Los Angeles County?
Sure. So some of that will be described in the presentation, but I'll go ahead and answer that question.
If you're going to answer it, then that's fine. Just say,
Okay.
just say it's going to be answered. That's
Why
fine.
Yeah,
don't we
that
go
one will
through your
be
presentation?
described within our
Yeah.
presentation.
Okay, yeah, your presentation's ready
Yes.
now, so let's
Okay.
go to that.
Great. Okay, great. So if we can go to the third slide, then we'll pick up from there, since I kind of talked about the first 2. Okay, so we have a number of different changes. We call it a new voting experience because it's not just a new voting period, not just a new voting equipment. We have a number of changes taking place. And the first one is the electronic poll book, and it actually gets to the question that was just raised: how do we know who's eligible? When a voter shows up at a vote center, they will be looked up in the electronic poll book, and the electronic poll book taps into our voter database. So anyone registered to vote will appear in the electronic poll book, and that's how we will issue that voter a paper ballot. The electronic poll book offers a number of other advantages. We can do conditional voter registration, and what conditional voter registration is the opportunity for voters who maybe missed the voter registration deadline or need to change their address or update any information. They can do that on a conditional basis, and they will be able to vote the same day. So you could technically register to vote up to and on election day, and go ahead and cast your ballot. There is still a 15-day voter registration deadline. It'll be a little bit of a soft deadline, but if you are interested in voting by mail, that 15-day deadline will still be important. Moving on, we have a new modern tally system. Actually, you can leave it on the. I'm going to just go through the different bubbles. So on the new voter, if you can back up, the tally system, we have a new tally system because we have a new paper ballot, and there's a lot more efficient administration of elections that we can do with our new tally system. It's our old system is a little bit out of date. We've been using the same voting system for about 50 years. And so I don't know about you, but there's not really any technology that I'm aware of where people have been using the same technology for 50 years. So it's really due for an update and an upgrade, and the modern tally system really allows us to do that. So if you do want to recount, it's a lot more efficient. If we want to audit the election, we do that in a much more efficient way. Moving on, we have our interactive sample ballot. This is a new service available. It's an optional service. So currently, I think everyone is familiar. You get your sample ballot via paper booklet, and usually voters, they look up the information and they mark who they plan to vote for, and they take that into a polling place. Well, in the future, we'll have at vote centers, we'll have the ability to mark your at home. You can mark your selections via electronic sample ballot. It's not your vote. It's just an electronic version of the little booklet. Once you've made all your selections, it generates a QR code, which is a barcode, a type of barcode. And you take that in. Once you get your paper ballot, you'll scan that barcode, and it pre-populates your ballot in the ballot marking device. So it's a bit of an expedited process. You still have to confirm and cast your ballot and print it. But this is an expedited process because the ballots can get very long with the consolidation and all the activities going on around elections. So an interactive sample ballot, again, it's optional. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it, but it at least allows voters who are interested that service. Moving on, our ballot marking device, and again, I encourage everyone to try out the ballot marking device if they haven't. There's one here in Inglewood, so it makes it really convenient for people to try it out and use this device. But that's a picture of it from the top down. Again, it's still a paper ballot. Also, for security reasons, there's no internet connection, there's no wireless, there's no Bluetooth. It just has a power cord and it plugs into the wall. Voters use a touchscreen to make their selections, but everything prints directly onto the paper ballot. And it is the paper ballot which we will use to tabulate the election and tally all the votes. It is fully ADA accessible. You can plug in any accessibility device. And you can also hear your ballot in audible format. So if you want your ballot in English but in audible format, you can get that. We have all the languages that we serve LA County voters in programmed into the device, so you can also get those in audible format. So if you want Spanish or Farsi or Chinese or any of the languages we support, anywhere in LA County, you'll be able to use that. Moving on, probably the most significant change to elections in LA County is that we'll have a new voting period. You'll be able to vote starting 10 days before the election, so a full 11 days of voting in person. So voters can vote at their convenience. They can vote where they want because you'll be able to go to any vote center in LA County. Starting 10 days before the election, we'll have 250 locations around LA County, and for the last 4 days, so that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Election Day, we'll have 1,000 locations around LA County. So if you're visiting relatives out in the Valley, you can vote out in the Valley, your Inglewood ballot, or if you want to vote close to your home, you can use the vote center that's closest to your home. A lot of options, a lot more convenience for voters. And then the new vote by mail experience is actually not really new. We did roll it out in 2018, so it's relatively new. One big change about vote by mail is you don't need a stamp to return your ballot anymore. It's all postage paid. And we'll have 250 vote by mail drop box locations around LA County where voters will have that option to return their ballot. So it'll be, you can return it either by mail, you can return it at a drop box, or you can walk it into one of our vote centers where staff will help you. I have a few more slides, but I know there's a number of questions, and out of respect of time, this is kind of the overview, and I think if there's additional questions that get into a lot more of the detail, I'm happy to answer those, but maybe we'll do the questions at this point. Would that work? Unless...
Sure, if there's any questions.
Yes, I know
Ralph
there was a
probably
few
has
more.
two. Oh, okay.
But I've already submitted them to him, so I thought they
Sure,
were.
I can
gonna
go ahead and read
answer
through
that.
them. I didn't know if you wanted to ask them, but I'm happy to read through the list.
Go
if you'd
right
like.
ahead.
Okay, great. So we talked about how the first question, and I'll just to kind of tie up that question, how do we determine who's eligible to vote? We answered that with the electronic poll book, so hopefully that answered that question. The next question says regarding the cost of cities, how are the cities billed, are the cities billed for the new voting machines? That is not the case. The county is paying for it out of its own tax dollars, its own revenue, plus there's state and federal funding that's also been included in funding and paying for the new voting system. So cities are not paid for the cost of building the equipment, only the cost to administer the election. And then also similarly on the cost question, since polls are open for now 11 days, how will that be billed as opposed to 1 day, which is what we had in the past? So the cost around billing will be how much it costs us to administer the election. So we are administering it for 11 days, so the cost will be reflective of that change.
So divided by 88 cities, which is the count.
Correct. Yeah. So a number of the changes that it's important to note that a lot of the changes are the result of state law changes. So the consolidation is state law change. SB 450, which is the California Voters' Choice Act, which is the vote center model, that's reflective of state law change. So a lot of those are requirement by law to administer the election. So the administration portion will still be billed towards the cities.
Understand.
The next question, since voting will be electronic, who will educate the voter that the system becomes computer friendly? So the one thing we want to emphasize about this is it's not electronic voting and it's not computer voting. There was a mock election we held in September, and we had 50 sites around LA County. One of the really encouraging things about the mock election was how easy voters found it to use the equipment. Now I know there's a concern that people who aren't good with technology, maybe seniors or some other folks, might have a little difficulty. And we're aware of that, and we feel that it's a little more of a fear of technology rather than a practical application, because when you see someone actually use the equipment, you realize, oh, it's actually everyone finds it pretty intuitive, and that's really the response we got from voters. However, that said, we are going to have staff specifically at vote centers whose only job it is to help people get on the equipment, use the equipment, and make sure people are comfortable. If you are interested in doing any additional outreach here within the city, we'd happy to arrange a similar town hall like the one that Maxine Waters' office put together. We can do something similar for Inglewood. So if that's something you're interested in, we would love to partner with you on that. Okay, moving on concerning voter fraud. What firewalls are in place to avoid hackers from accessing the database and voting without the voter being aware that they have voted? So this touches on a few different things. Number one thing we always want to emphasize, and I had mentioned it earlier, is there's no internet connection and there's no Bluetooth and there's no wireless. So the voting system is not internet-based at all. It's not electronic-based at all. The election is tabulated off the paper ballots themselves. What is connected to the internet is our electronic poll book, and that's necessary because we have to look up voters and tap into our voter database. That is secured. It is a secure county connection. It's got actually several layers of security. So for example, if we are at a library and that's where our vote center is, we're not using the free Wi-Fi at the library and the security that comes with that. We are using that connection, but it is a secured county connection. So that's one thing to note about it. We will have 24-hour outside monitoring of our voter database, making sure that no one tries to get into it, or if it's prevented from anyone trying to hack in and being successful at that. That is something that we always face right now. People are still trying to get into our voter database even before electronic poll books. So we make sure we always monitor that, and we have a very high level of security, and we've never had a history of anyone breaching our internet security. So that takes place, sort of answers the security part of it. I'm not sure. It touched on a few other things. I don't know if that answered that question.
You're good. Go right ahead with the others.
Okay,
yes,
great.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay.
Right on point.
Okay, great. So the number 6, as a candidate, we have
Have 8.
Yes.
Have 8.
We're more than halfway done.
There you
It's
go.
Okay. Okay. As a candidate, we have volunteers that go to the poll sites and review the written voter registration on the door to denote who has voted. How can a candidate know if a voter has voted when they're out voting countywide? So number 1, that's called the street index, which I believe is what you're referring to. And that's the one where the poll workers line out and then you check to see who's voted. So, and you're correct. How do we do that now if people are voting countywide, because it's no more a precinct-based model? We will have an online portal that you'll be able to look up your supporters or your voters, and you'll be able to download something like a CSV file, and you'll be able to use that to cross-reference with your voters. So it actually makes it a little bit easier, because now you don't have to actually go from polling place to polling place. You can look all of that up from your campaign offices.
Fantastic.
But I think an equivalent question is, though, since you can use this, there's no book per se.
Correct.
And you can vote anywhere in the county for any election, is that right?
Correct.
So how do you keep people from double voting? Or is there some master reconciliation that occurs before the tabulation?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Always
So when
is.
someone shows up to vote, we mark them as voted real time. So if you tried to vote, say you drive from one vote center to the next on the same day, you won't be able to do that because we'll show you as voted real time.
So there is a connection of some type then.
The electronic poll book, correct?
The electronic poll book is internet-based, and it does do a master reconciliation real time. So there must be an uploading simultaneously as people vote into this master poll book. Is that right?
It gets recorded in our voter database at our office in Norwalk.
Right, but what I'm saying is, I thought I heard you say that each one of these voting stations was self-contained. They didn't have a connection to wireless.
Right. No internet connection.
No internet connection. But if they don't, there'd be no way to do this real-time reconciliation.
So there's no internet connection for the voting device, but the electronic poll book, which is completely separate from that has the internet connection.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I mentioned if we're at a library and we're using the Wi-Fi connection, it's a protected county connection.
Well, it's an encrypted connection because a wireless is not secure, but what you're saying is your data stream is encrypted. Is that right?
I'm not the IT expert, but it is through the County Office of Information Technology, Security. We work with the Secretary of State's office and Department of Homeland Security. So it's got several layers of security and protection.
All right, thank you.
That's why I raised the firewall issue.
That was a very, very good question, Cal.
Okay. Oh, I got a good one, huh? All right. 2 more.
Okay, all right, so on Election Day, will the unofficial voting results be posted by the end of the evening or the following day? So very similar to how it is now. The results that are posted on election night, those will be all the unofficial results, and we'll be posting until we've tabulated all the ballots that have been cast. Nothing will be posted before election day. Sometimes we get that question because of the 11 days of voting. So nothing will be posted until 8 p.m. on election night. The one thing to note that will be different is I think we're all used to seeing a large chunk of voters or of results appear at like 8:30, right? Usually that's the vote by mail ballots. That'll be an even larger chunk of ballots. It'll be a lot more representative right about 8:20, 8:30, because during those 11 days, we're going to be prepping and getting ballots ready to be tabulated, so at 8 p.m. we can go ahead and count those. So it'll be a larger representation right after 8 o'clock, but the counting will go into the night until we are done with tabulating everything that we have in our possession.
But the answer is you have up to 30 days to certify the election.
Correct. That will still move forward.
Okay.
Yes. And there's provisional, conditional voter registration, vote by mail that all get checked during those 30 days.
Got it.
And then the last question, as a candidate, I pay for a candidate statement in multiple languages. Will the sample ballot with my candidate statement only be made available for my city and not a large yellow book countywide to find my candidate statement? So the sample ballots will be still distributed. Let me start over this. So the sample ballots are produced in all the languages that we serve voters in LA County. And they will still be sent to voters in different communities based on the languages that they're interested in voting, and probably a larger percentage towards different communities that are interested in those specific languages. The one thing we want to emphasize is that now voters can use any ballot marking device at any vote center and get the ballots in those languages. So I know there were requirements before about cities having language requirements based on their population and their demographic. Moving forward, because the county will be administering that there's less emphasis on the county's responsibility around that, because an individual's responsibility around that, because the county will be administering the election in all languages countywide. I don't know if that answers.
You haven't answered it yet. So, for example, when the city clerk does our local elections, there's only maybe 20, 30 pages on which, for the city of Inglewood, either a measure or sample ballots of the candidates for school board or the city electeds are identified. If it's now 88 cities and these candidates make statements, is there going to be a yellow page book of 88 cities with multiple statements from the candidates, as opposed to it being reduced within that respective city?
So all materials that we produce will be translated into all languages. So, for example, November is when you have your primary election, correct?
Yes.
So for that election, it'll be consolidated with the general election. So all the materials that we produce will have full translations for
So just
all the
share with me
voters.
the sample ballot. How many cities? We know there's 88 cities in the county, but my candidate statement, I want to be identified succinctly in the city of Inglewood, not Covina or anywhere else. And so when the sample ballots are mailed to the voters' residence, I'm just simply asking, is the voter sample ballot only going to have those city issues or county issues or state issues for that regional area, as opposed to it being 88 cities where you got this large yellow page directory that you now got to flip through in order to find that particular candidate statements and his issues or position?
Okay, it's possible. Maybe I'll follow up, because I think that was I interpreted the question a little bit differently. So can I get back to you, and when I get back to the office tomorrow, I'll go ahead and
Thank you.
make sure I've got to follow up with that question.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
That was
so
it.
much.
Any other questions that I can answer?
I hope not. Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, I think,
Appreciate.
No,
okay.
thank
good.
you.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and I'll leave the flyers for the demo center out here on the table for anyone who wants to pick them up on the way out. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So it looks like we may have our first evening meeting after all. Okay.
I hope not.
All right. Public comment. Any persons wishing to address the City Council, Successor Agency, Housing Authority, Finance Authority, Parking Authority, or the JPA on any item on today's agendas other than the public hearings may do so at this time. Yes. Okay. Then we'll close public comment. Item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Warrant register.
Move allow payment.
Second. Madam Clerk.
Council members, successor agency members, and housing authority members, Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Butts.
Aye. Madam Clerk, what's the next scheduled matter?
Mayor, the next scheduled matter is a public hearing to consider an ordinance amending the Inglewood Municipal Code, Chapter 11, building regulations that adopts by reference the 2019 California Title 24 building codes, including all related revisions, supplements, and errata as follows. A, California Building Standards Administrative Code 2019 edition. B, California Building Code 2019 edition. C, California Residential Code 2019 edition. D, California Plumbing Code 2019 edition. E, California Mechanical Code 2019 edition. F, California Electrical Code 2019 edition. G, California Historical Building Codes 2019. H, California Existing Building Codes 2019. I, California Energy Code 2019. J, California Green Building Standards Code 2019 edition. K, California Reference Standards Code 2019 edition. California Fire Code 2019 edition, with the latest County of Los Angeles Fire Department amendments.
Has the notice of the hearing been given in a time, form, and manner as required by law? And do you have the affidavit on file?
Notice has been given and an affidavit is on file.
Have you received any communications?
No communications have been received.
Is there a brief staff report on the matter?
Good afternoon, Council Mayor. We're here to consider the adoption of the 2019 Title 24 building codes, which, do you want me to enumerate the codes again?
No, we don't need to do it again.
Okay. And they're basically sort of a formalized standard. Every 3 years, the codes need to be adopted by the city.
Got you. Thank you. Is there any public comment? Closing public comment or any council?
I would like to motion waive for the reading, Mayor.
Second, Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye.
I introduce.
And that will be that. Okay, now, Madam Clerk, what's the next scheduled matter?
Mayor, the next scheduled matter is a public hearing to consider approval of the draft fiscal year 2018-19 Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report for the submission to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Los Angeles Field Office by December 30th, 2019's deadline.
Has the notice of the hearing been given in the time, form, and manner as required by law? Do you have an affidavit on file?
Notice has been given and an affidavit is on file.
Ever received any communications?
No communications have been received.
Is there a staff report, Mr. Fields?
Roberto Chavez, head manager, will give the staff report.
Welcome, Mr. Chavez.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, and members of the public. Thank you for your time and attention. Today, for consideration of approval, I am presenting the draft 2018-2019 Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, CAPER. This CAPER covers the 2017-2021 consolidated plan period. The document details the accomplishments made by the city using Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and Home Investment Partnership funds. Some of the highlights of the CAPER include the city allocated $500,000 in CDBG funding for the minor home repair program. This project is expected to benefit approximately 30 households or homes for families whose incomes do not exceed the low-income limits and reside in CDBG-eligible census tracts. A total of 67 households were assisted through the Homeless Tenant-Based Rental Assistance Program, HTBRA, and the TBRA, Tenant-Based Rental Assistance Program. The city completed construction of a 40-unit affordable senior citizen housing complex located at 502-508 South Eucalyptus Avenue, also known as the Path Villa Eucalyptus Senior Complex. Public service funds also assisted in the resolution of landlord and tenant disputes through fair housing counseling. Approximately 500 residents were assisted. Low-income seniors were provided meals, and youth programs were offered through summer camps by our Parks, Recreation, and Library Services Department. HUD funding resources have been stable in the recent years since the reductions that began about 6 years ago through federal sequestration. These programs have worked to strengthen the city and will continue to assist residents as long as funding remains available. With that, the recommendation is the governing body approve the submittal of the CAPER to HUD. This concludes my report. I would be happy to take any questions.
Is there any public comment? Public comment is closed. Are there any questions from the council?
I think I'd like to move items 2 and 3.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Council members Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Chavez.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Good job. You too, Mr. Singh. Consent calendar, items 2 through 10.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Council members Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. SPH 1.
Staff report requesting that a public hearing be set to consider zoning code amendment 2019 through 002 to Chapter 12 of the Inglewood Municipal Code to modify regulations of the medical enterprise overlay zone citywide.
Set the public hearing for January 14th, 2019 at 2 p.m. 2020.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Ooh, we had to
Thank
get in
you
the
very
time machine.
Aisha.
I'm sorry. I should
Very
have
good,
caught that.
Ken. That's why the big brain Ken.
Yeah.
He could have told you before the meeting, but right?
yeah.
but
I
no, he
should've-
waited.
Quite the moment, man, to close the year out.
What? Represent.
A1,
Oral reports.
Top of mind.
CM1,
There are no reports from the city manager's office.
CC1.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'm back. So I just wanted to remind the people that we have the new voting system downstairs. They'll be here for the rest of the week. We have, what, 2 more days? So you should get down there and work it, especially if you guys haven't. It's a lot of fun. It's not hard at all. And so enjoy the experience and try to get there and use the machine. Thank you.
Thank you, CT1.
I have a request if someone could, perhaps nail down my apparatus here.
Let me teach
so
something.
that it's
That
not
will
falling
be
off each time.
That will be fixed today.
Very much
Lewis here.
Appreciate it.
Okay, all right. That'll be fixed today.
And it's bubble gum.
I just have a very brief report to give regarding the investments. The bonds that was called between November the 4th and December the 12th was $11 million. And those funds went into the investment account. And also, I would like to mention that the total bond securities at this time is $34 million. That is the cost basis, and the market basis is $33,927,280. The difference is $72,720. But again, these bonds will be held to maturity, so that's just simply the market for the bonds. And I have a question also regarding, I want to thank the city clerk for just an excellent presentation regarding our upcoming voting, but I have a question regarding the costs, regarding the candidate statement, in that these are going to 88 different cities now. Right now, I run citywide, and it runs approximately, I think, about $3,300 last time. So if it's going to 88 cities, is that going to be maybe $10,000 now, $12,000 now? And will the county absorb any of that cost? Because for citywide candidates, it's substantially greater than those that are just running in a district. So that needs to be addressed, and the gentleman didn't address that issue.
That's correct. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let's do this, Madam City Clerk, we usually do all these minutes, they're all for the different dates, so I want to call CSA 2, H2, F1, P1, and JPA 1, acknowledge that they're all minutes of the various authorities. Just give the authority the date, and then we could vote on them globally.
Okay, so successor agency minutes for November 19th and 26th, 2019. Housing Authority minutes for November 19th and November 26th. Finance Authority, November 26th. Parking Authority, November 26th. And Joint Powers Authority, November 19th and November 26th.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Successor,
On to something here.
Housing, Finance, Parking Authority, and Joint Powers Authority members. Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Butts.
Aye.
Actually, that's just Chairman Butts,
Okay, thank
but
you.
I almost got it.
Okay, and now we'll close all of those, Housing Authority, Finance Authority, JPA, Successor, Parking, they're all closed now. And public comments, any person who address the council, any matter connected with city business, not elsewhere considered may do so at this time. It's your time, 1 minute.
Thank you, council members. Good to see you again. Happy holidays. Merry Kwanzaa to us all. 7-Eleven is attempting to build a gas station and convenience store in a residential neighborhood of Inglewood in District 2 that is already oversaturated with gas stations and liquor stores. They're requesting special use request SP 2019-10 that would allow them to put in the service station as well, sell beer and wine for off-site consumption, 24-hour liquor store at the corner of 64th Street in La Brea. We oppose the special use permit due to the oversaturation, in addition to the fact that the project has not fulfilled yet their requirements of any environmental impacts, as well as the, as I stated, oversaturation.
You said that.
Yeah, I'm tired today. But I will see you next week as well.
Look forward to it.
Yay!
All right, bye. Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, staff, and council people. I would just personally like to thank Mr. Morales for his fundraising efforts for the soccer team of the high school, for the boys and girls soccer team. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. You know, thank you for the efforts of the whole council for being a part of that as well. I have one question for the voting. The people that have died, will that also be eliminated from the scrolls? They will not be allowed to use somebody else's name that has passed away and allowed to vote. That's my question, and maybe y'all can address that as well. Thank you, and have a great week, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. A couple of days ago, I hit the milestone in my life. I turned 75, and I'm here to. I'm really here to thank our mayor for bringing a lovely certificate to me. But I talked with the general, my wife, and she said that she wanted a picture of everyone. So I brought the plaque, and after adjourning the meeting, I like just a combined meeting of the council members to, so that we can show that a great city that I lived in for 40 years and what we're doing. And I'm just so thankful to be able to know everybody one-on-one and looking at the lovely work we continue to do. So I hope I can get a group picture.
That'll be fine.
Thank you.
All right. And
my name is Willie Agee, and I live in the #1 city in the United States of America. And I'm proud of it. you know, sometime at night I wake up and cry because I'm so happy. And I just appreciate these people up here. You're the one that did it. And, you know, just keep doing it. But what I really want to say, I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. Everybody, we can say that again, and thank God.
Thank you, Mr. Agee. With that, we'll close public comment. If there are any council comments, Councilman Dotson, District 1.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have that much, but
we
I
only
can't let
gave
the
you a
Christmas tree lighting go by without saying something about it. To me, it was the biggest one I think I've seen since I've been on council. It was very well attended, and they had some great entertainment. I was lucky enough to get a picture with Betty G. and Michelle.
Becky G.
That would be
Michelle-
Becky.
Becky.
Becky. Betty couldn't make it.
Becky G, right? Becky G.
No, Becky.
Becky. Okay, Becky. All right. I have to change that on my notes. But anyway, it was a great time had by all. I want to thank the staff and Sabrina Barnes and Teresa Estrada and whoever else had a part in this. When you start naming names, you get in trouble. So I want to make sure that everybody understands. If you had anything to do with the Christmas lighting ceremony, I'm thanking you as well. So I hope that everybody have a wonderful rest of your day and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Padilla, District 2.
Great.
Thank you, Mayor. I too want to thank everybody, not only staff, because staff does a lot to make that event such a huge success. We had a beautiful Santa Claus out there, the best. But I want to thank the community. I want to thank everybody that came out from all over. I mean, we had folks from, Ontario and all that coming down because they saw we're having this great event, and they saw the folks that were out here that were going to perform, and they all came out. Our tree is out there. If you haven't had a chance to go take a look at that tree out there, you owe it to yourself. Go out there tonight when it's lit. Beautiful place to take a family picture or just to go out there and have a cup of coffee or some hot chocolate or something. It's a beautiful tree. So please go out there, take a look at that. You're gonna be happy you did. I also just want to invite everybody this Saturday. I'm doing, there's Becky G. Dang, she makes me look good. And
Really?
No.
And I'm having my toy drive this coming Saturday from 10 to 2. So please come out and enjoy the toy drive. Come out and visit. There'll be folks. The mayor, the council members are all going to stop by. Staff will be stopping by as well. And again, we're going to be helping several different organizations. It's a canned food and toy drive. And so we're going to be helping out Superhero Julian Foundation. We're going to be helping out One for All, the OFA Foundation, South Bay Work Investment Board, their reentry program. We're going to be helping out those members as well. We're going to be helping out the St. Margaret Center and the LAX Food Pantry. The LAX Food Pantry, for those that don't know, is located here in Inglewood on Beach. So we're going to be helping out these organizations. Come on by. We're going to have refreshments and some food and have a great time. So looking forward to seeing you. I'm also doing, this is my second or third annual home decorating contest. If you live in District 3, you can see some of the homes that are already out there decorated. I'm doing a home decorating contest for District number 2, and the deadline is the 17th of January at 5 p.m. to submit your home or apartment building. We've had some folks that have had their apartment buildings entered into the contest, and winners will be receiving certificates for first, second, and third place. So with that, thank you so very much and have a great rest of your week. No, did I say January? Oh, I'm sorry, December 17th. Man.
Ken, you missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, you just weren't going to do it again.
Man. Oh, okay, good. All right, there you go. December 17th is the deadline. Winners will be announced the 18th.
Okay.
That's for the home decorating contest. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Franklin, District 4.
Yes, there's a lot of labor of love by our staff that continue to embrace our community, and I just simply want to thank you, particularly for the holiday celebrations that just occurred just recently when we did the tree lighting. But also, I just want to reach out to Parks and Recs Department specifically and this city council for embracing the Inglewood Baseball Fund. They actually put on the Darby Park a brand new, state-of-the-art baseball batting cage and a training center, all on their dime of $125,000 for improvement for our community and for our youth to now be able to play and get prepared for professional sports, particularly baseball. So hats off to everyone, and Feliz Navidad and happy holidays to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Morales, District 3.
Thank you. Also with the Christmas tree lighting every year. But I have to, staff amazing. Sabrina and your crew, you guys make it look easy, and we appreciate that. I want to take the time to thank everybody who came out to my Christmas event. This year I did something different. I tried something different. We've gone through a couple of different things, but over the year we've been helping some little sports groups here and there. When I found out that the Inglewood High School girls and boys soccer teams were not funded this year, and I spoke to some of the parents who had grown up on my block, actually, when I was a kid. They reached out to me. I talked to some of the coaches, and I really was impressed with the fact that how they were keeping it going, just keeping it alive. They didn't have enough to travel on their buses or to get the uniforms or equipment. So we put some goals together. They wanted the girls and boys to be part of it. I had them pass out flyers. We got some friends of ours to show up. The goal was to get $3,000 for both teams, which was $1,500 each. We nearly doubled that. So we got close to $5,000, which was great. The mayor showed up, as you can see there. I don't know if you guys can see which one he is, but the one in the middle. A tall one. Anyway, then Councilman Franklin showed up. It was a nice, generous gift, and I appreciate that. And I know my other colleagues are always supportive, and I appreciate that. But it was just amazing that, it felt like we were doing something right, and it felt like everybody pitched in. A lot of alumni, that coach on the end, you missed him, his name's Clemente, and Mayor, I'll take a couple minutes more just because I want to talk about him. Mm-hmm. He has been the coach there for about 35 years, ever since he was a soccer player at Inglewood High School and then left to play in college, came back. Actually works for the Aetna Corporation, and he still coaches there, and they don't pay him much at all. I think it's $0. And the thing is that he does the fundraising. He does the fundraising for them every year. And Clemente, it's amazing how many folks came back to support him to help the kids. And I just appreciate it. The young ladies, more than enough. That's him, Clemente. And I have to say that, let me start by just thanking some specific people. First of all, Jaime, who did a great job, and everybody knows he also makes everything look easy for me. I appreciate that. Thomas Bunn came out with the whole crew. Stuart Bailey, like you said, thank you. Ralphie, JB, Betty Griffith, I don't know if she's here, but she came, I know, before. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Eric Hawley stopped in. Then my sponsors, LAX Tacos, as soon as they found out what we were doing, I told them. and they came out and they just gave free tacos. You know, that was awesome. Randy's Donuts sent us 200 donuts. 7-Eleven, drinks, water, Marvin Engineering, Rams, the Clippers, and then just a bunch of folks who I didn't expect to come in and drop so generously. LAX Tacos. So I just want to thank everybody. I was very happy with the outcome, and I know that from there, the girls' coach went and ordered their uniform, so that was real good. So anyway, thanks everybody for coming out. That was it, Mayor.
Okay. The PD is having a toy drive on the 14th in the police department lobby. They start collecting toys on November 29th in the IPD lobby. And then the toy drive is on Saturday, December 14th from noon to 8 p.m. on Gravilla off Manchester Boulevard. I just don't see how that is possible. Oh, so it must be in front of Inglewood High?
Yes.
Okay, all right. No, it says Manchester. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
Manchester
go.
this year.
Yeah, so it's going to be in front of Inglewood High. Okay.
Okay. Gravilla.
Let's ask Ken. Ken, where's it going to be? I want to thank Parks and Rec and Sabrina and Teresa, but everybody in Parks and Rec. I want to thank Public Works as well. It's easy to take for granted when we have these events like the tree lighting ceremony. Those guys in Public Works put so much into making sure everything is nice for everybody. So I want to thank the Public Works people as well. The Darby Park batting cage project, it's interesting that the better we do, the more people want to invest in the city, for our children. And, that's $120,000, as the councilman said, that someone wanted to invest in our kids, and we're very proud of that. I was really touched at Eloy's fundraiser he did for the soccer teams, the girls and boys soccer teams at Inglewood High. It's an expansion of the council's role in trying to create a greater quality of life and opportunity for kids. And so, Eloy, that was really something, I want to tell you. And then I want to close the meeting in the name of Paul Smith. He was a 50-year resident of District 1. He had the house right there at 5th and Park Circle. And he had the biggest Christmas display of Winter Wonderland every Christmas. He was that's his daughter Paula and her husband Ricky, and Paula is one of my wife's Judy's best friends, and he was just a magnificent man, a pillar of the. When you say pillar of the community, he was a pillar of the community, and it's just sad to lose him. So that's his wife Sally. They look like a couple out of Central Casting. And we'll close the meeting in his memory.